This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Naga Munchetty.
On digital radio, on BBC Sounds.
And ask your smart speaker, play BBC Radio 5 Live.
The time now is 12:36. I feel like diving a bit into a world of mystery. Still sends chills, gives me shivers. MI6 is going to be led by a woman for the first time in the Foreign Intelligence Service's 116-year history. Blaise Metreweli will become the 18th chief of the organisation. She takes over from Sir Richard Moore later this year. I'm going to introduce you to Claire Hubbard-Hall, is historian and author of Her Secret Service, The Forgotten Women of British Intelligence. Claire, you have to indulge me. Afternoon to you. Just have to indulge me with the Bond theme because I love it, and it's a nice way to weave it into anything I can.
No, it absolutely is. It absolutely is, and of course that strong perception of espionage being a man's game, of course. Blaise now is putting a sledgehammer to that glass ceiling and shifting that perception that spying has always been a woman's game, not just a man's game.
Yeah, some of the best spies are women, of course, or were. Blaise Metreweli, who is she?
Well, I mean, obviously she's a woman, and she's, that appointment in itself is historic, but she is the perfect candidate for this, from taking over from Sir Richard Moore. She has the tech background. She is a linguist. She is quite a formidable career intelligence officer who really is taking the helm at perhaps one of the Secret Service's most challenging times in the world, from the number of threats that it's having to tackle. So, yeah, it's not an easy time to take up this appointment.
No, not at all an easy time, as we're reporting on conflicts around the world, of course, and threats here to the UK. In terms of the significance of this appointment, let's first of all start with the global context. Why? I mean, you've explained some of her skills, obviously, but why is she the right appointment? We knew there were a few candidates up for this.
Well, so she is the internal candidate. There was also Barbara Woodward, who was the Foreign Office's choice, one of the external candidates. There was another female internal candidate and another male external candidate, but she's beaten them all. And I think that's based on her career path and her experience. She joined SIS straight from Pembroke College, Cambridge, where she studied anthropology. So she wasn't originally a tech specialist. She morphed into that when she applied to the Foreign Office, and then, like most SIS officers, was identified for being suitable for SIS and diverted to them. And her first appointment, she was a case officer where she really got to grips with nuclear technology, understanding that while she was running agents at the same time who were risking their lives to share secrets with us. So, I mean, that really is right on the front line in terms of operational work. And she spent nearly over half of her career working overseas, some of it in war zones. And she did all this incredibly while she was also raising a family as well. So she really, she is a spy and she knows her stuff. And in terms of working overseas, which was partly in the Middle East as well as Europe, she's an Arabic speaker. So she's definitely got the experience and the knowledge in terms of dealing with the threats that currently faces at this precise moment in time.
She sounds formidable. Absolutely.
She absolutely
formidable. Is. Have you met her?
I have not met her, but I have seen her at a closed event last year in action. And yeah, you definitely would want her at the helm of MI6. So I think she's an absolutely fantastic appointment, and the fact that obviously she is a woman comes at the end of a very long legacy of women somebody waiting finally to take that sledgehammer to that glass ceiling. Because, of course, MI6 has lagged behind its other sister services in terms of appointing a woman at its head. So, yes, we finally got there after 116 years.
Women have been trusted to be spies even before they got the vote, before they were trusted to vote. I mean, it's the underestimation of women, isn't it, that is used?
No, absolutely. Their gender was their perfect camouflage. The fact that it just couldn't be assumed that women would be performing espionage roles, agents, officers, working in various departments like Blaise did in Q technology. So I mean, women have been right there from the inception of MI6 and its history in 1909. The first female agent was just recruited just a couple of months at the end of December 1909, just after it had been the Secret Service Bureau had been formed in October. And this woman, Agnes Blake, was nothing like the kind of sexy, glamorous actresses that we see portraying spies on the big screen, like Keira Knightley and Black Doves, etc., most recently. Nothing like that at all. She was a middle-aged widow literary translator who travelled backwards and forwards to Germany, gathering intelligence from German officers and then bringing it back to the first head of MI6, Mansfield Smith Cummings. So she totally didn't look like the glamorous stereotype of the femme fatale, seductress honey trap that we see on the big screen.
The Mata Hari type.
The Mata Hari type, absolutely. These were quite the opposite. And this is, synonymous of women throughout MI6's history, that it's ordinary women doing extraordinary work. And they have been there right from the beginning, even though Ian Fleming, John le Carré have painted this very, very strong picture of espionage being a man's game, or James Bond, etc. Women have always been there in the background performing the full range of roles, but they have had to wait in terms of getting those positions of power, such as the head of MI6. They've had to wait for a man to decide when that was going to happen. And I think we have to pay credit to Sir Richard Moore, who's the outgoing MI6 chief, because he made it his legacy that he was going to end the all-male panels appointment process. So he has played a massive part in making this possible.
Good for him.
Absolutely.
Well, good for him, but it's good for the rest of the world. Well, as it slowly realises that having women at the top makes a positive difference. So she's going to be C, yeah?
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And she was Q?
She was Q, yes.
Quartermaster. It's Q for quartermaster.
It is, correct, yeah.
C's for chief.
Yes.
And she's the only one, is it, that's publicly named? The letter that is publicly named.
C, yeah.
Yes.
So C is the only person who's publicly known. So it will be interesting to see if she stays on social media like Richard Moore did. It will be very, very interesting to see where she takes that. At the event that I attended last year, she is very keen on promoting women coming into MI6. So we may see that being pushed. She did, for those that are listening, in 2022, she was actually interviewed by Helen Worrell of the Financial Times, along with three other female MI6 officers. It was the first kind of made history in terms of speaking about their journeys in MI6. And Blaise Metreweli was interviewed as Q under the pseudonym of Ada. And in that, she gives quite some telling kind of anecdotal kind of information about her background, how she always wanted to go into spying. It was the only job that she ever wanted. As a young girl, she stole her brother's children's spycraft manual and wrote her name in the inside book cover, and made it her own. And she did like coded messages with her friends. And then the other side of it, which was quite revealing in the interview, is that she talked about some of her postings overseas, and as well as sort of running agents while she's pregnant, and then also when she's has her young children. And it was quite interesting that apparently she was the first MI6 officer to ask where the Isofix points were in her armoured car, so that she could fix her car seat. Yes. So she could fix the car seat into the armoured car, because they weren't made with them. And this sort of left people
they'd have been baffled.
Yes, but they did find a solution. So it's just, it brings, it's real life, but obviously very, very challenging in terms of being a woman and a mother in this type of role. And she's managed to rise to the top is remarkable.
My brilliant producer today says is explaining to me, because I don't have children. He says they're for kids' seats and they're a nightmare. If she can do them, she can do this job, I reckon.
Absolutely.
As if parents don't have a big enough challenge. That sounds fun. That is really funny. Claire, it's been brilliant talking to you. I've learned loads. I can't wait to talk to her as well. I'll see if we can get her here on 5 Live. Claire Hubbard-Hall, author of Her Secret Service, The Forgotten Women of British Intelligence. Claire, thank you.
Thank you.